Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Adam, and recently on Reddit, I was asked to just show my method for how I make my coffee. I use this setup, and it's mostly because this is what I got for Christmas from my wife. I have a Mr. Coffee burr grinder that I set to medium plus 2 clicks towards coarse. I have it set for 8 cups because that generally gives me approximately 45 grams of coffee, which is what I measure out for 750 milliliters of coffee. And I use the Corsori electric water kettle. If that's wrong pronunciation of this, feel free to correct me because that's what the internet does. And I also have my Chemex. So I've already ground the beans to save you that really horrifying sound. I have already boiled my water and I'm going to go ahead and set up the Chemex. Once I've got it set up, I prefer the white filters. I've just done taste tests and this is what I prefer over the brown filters or the metal filter. Feel free to choose your own method. I should really have set up some easygoing music in the background. That would have been great. If I knew how to edit the videos, I would for sure do that as well. Give it the swirl to preheat the Chemex, and then put in the coffee beans. When I measure out my coffee beans, I use a Taylor Precision Digital that I got from Target, 17 bucks, not super expensive. And I have a free scale that I got from the military that I use to weigh the coffee at this point. I do the Hoffman well once I put it in there, and I pour approximately 110 grams of water in to get the swirl that I need for the Hoffman swirl. At this point, I typically count to 30 in my head because it takes about 15 seconds to get the coffee in, do the swirls, the count to 30. That gives me the approximate 45 seconds that I need in order to let the coffee bloom in its first phase. Once the 45 seconds are up, I go ahead and pour in a third of the remaining 600 and some odd grams. So I will go up to 300 on my first pour. And I let it drain all the way down. The Kasuya video that I watched says to go 45 seconds in between the pours. That's what I do. I have my numbers, and my numbers have worked out very well for me and my coffee at work. Everyone at work that I've given this to has enjoyed the cup of coffee. Hopefully you get to do the same. Okay, once it's down almost all the way, go ahead and give the second pour up to 550. Now I did say that normally I do scoop the beans around and give it a swirl for the first time. This time was a little bit different with the coffee that I got from my local roasters here in Charleston. It looked like a second bloom essentially on that second pour. While I go through this and it drains down, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask in the YouTube video. I've liked my setup so far. I've went through probably 20 bags of coffee since I got this on Christmas, just testing out different methods and different ways that I like to enjoy the coffee. One thing that I have noticed using the spoon and scoop method that I use is that I end up having to just adjust the filter in order to let the air drain out. It was another thing that I'd watched some YouTube videos on. YouTube's everywhere. Well, I guess we all just watch YouTube nowadays. And for the last dip, I'm going to put in up to the 750 mark that I like for my coffee. I typically like 2 cups in the morning, which is normally 500 mils, but I'll share a cup every morning with somebody, and I just find it a good way to bond at work, share and talk about some coffee and the different methods that we prefer. One guy at work prefers the V60, one guy at work prefers just the standard coffee pot method. Another one's the French press. I like my meditating Chemex. That's what I prefer. So in order not to break this cheap scale, once I've poured my 750, I'll generally lift and move the scale out of the way because I don't want to break it. Set my coffee down and just let it finish pouring out. Adjust my filter a couple times because for some reason, only recently it started blocking the air since I started doing the spoon to the grounds method. But all in all, I like this method. It typically produces a really, really good cup of coffee for me, and it's smooth. It doesn't have the bitterness or the burn, the acidity that some of my other methods have shown to have. Once it gets down and it's draining, I will grab my coffee cup, which I should have had prepared. It's just slow dripping in there now, so I'm going to take it out and put it in the drain, and then pour and enjoy my cup of coffee. I truly hope that you guys have your own method, or if that doesn't work, just start with my method and adjust your water. I did forget to mention that the water temp is 210 for my electric kettle, and I'm okay with that. Feel free to let me know if you all have any questions. Have a great day.